Right.
All right, guys.
So for
This is the mic. This is the
this
microphone
is the mic
situation?
here. Yeah. We're all set up.
Guaranteed to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Sure.
it's picking us up. I think we're going to be nice and cheery. So,
Amazing.
welcome everyone. This edition is slightly different because normally I only have one guest. I think this is the first time this has happened where I've had two guests on at the same time, but I feel like it's suitable. For those of you that don't know, I've been here obviously in Holland for the last 3 years now, and I've been absolutely enjoying a lot of the events and parties that have been going on. And these two guys here put on probably the best party as far as I'm concerned in Amsterdam, and maybe even in the whole of the Netherlands. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, this is Olaf, Geert?
Yeah, in Dutch I go by Geert.
Geert?
But for you, let's call it Kurt.
I can go by Kurt.
Geert, I know, but yeah, my Nederlands is better and better.
It's wel goed.
It's, yeah, good. Yeah. It's good. See, look, talk in Dutch. And they are from Stupid Amsterdam. Thank you very much, guys, for coming in, or for allowing me to come and film us here in this amazing. What is it? What do we have here?
It's technically, it's an office
Yeah.
of sorts.
Right.
It's a great space. It used to be these are the arches of the bridge.
Yeah.
And the trains driving over it. So I think somewhere in the late 70s or early 80s they made little office buildings out of this.
Right.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
So now this is little office buildings. This building is part of our company. That is behind the wall there.
Right.
It's a production house for film and photography.
Yes.
This is your company. No.
Our as in me and some other folks.
Yeah.
Ellen, my wife.
Right.
And Geert-Jan and some other people.
Yeah.
So we have this company, and this is part of the company.
Right.
But in honesty, not really. It's mostly it's a party space that we use sometimes as an office.
Yeah.
Or as a sometimes it's hair and makeup
when
we have a shoot. Sometimes it's post production. Sometimes it's a meeting space, presentation space, all sorts of shapes.
Yeah.
That's the space.
Right. And you put on Stupid Amsterdam, which I still think is a great name. I love the name. What was the idea behind it? Why did you start doing these parties?
I think it's in the name actually, because it's kind of stupid, as even at a certain age, let's throw some parties, right? And then I think in all seriousness, it began in COVID time.
Yeah.
When we missed the clubs.
Yes.
And we thought,
God,
I don't know. I had some DJ thingy, and you had this
speakers.
big speakers.
Yeah.
And you had the office, not this space yet, but it was just around the corner. And we thought, let's just pretend we're in Melkweg.
Let's just do our own little party because there wasn't any.
Yeah.
So that's how this started.
Yeah, and it just happens to be like all bass music and the stuff we loved, stuff we went out of our way to go see anyways.
Yeah.
So and then of course we all got to go out again, but still.
Well, I kind of discovered that basically
like
it was
it.
you saying that this may just be more fun than actually going out.
Yeah. You two definitely seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. No, because it was simple. It was like the music we liked, the people we liked. Zero assholes in the building.
I mean, it's incredible.
So when in COVID times, it was a group of maybe 5 or 10 or 15 people. That's it.
Yeah.
And we were quick to discover that this was so much fun that we should consider not stopping after COVID.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, we got to basically do it a little bit better, so we're not a pain in the ass to the neighbors anymore, because we got some complaints. We were unaware, but we were bullying the whole neighborhood, but nobody told us. Nobody told us. So there were like WhatsApp groups like, who are these motherfuckers with the bass?
Yeah, exactly. All the sub bass that went all like a mile.
So
out.
I was a bit embarrassed. Actually. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but
but you were those guys, yeah. But it's alright.
So then we got this building. We beefed this up and sound insulated this,
Yes.
and then thought, well, we gotta let's do a WhatsApp group then with people that we like, and it grew from there.
Because I got brought down here by Addie J
Yeah.
the first time, who hopefully will be a future guest on this podcast.
And the viewer for sure.
And
Adi, are you there?
Yeah, she's
Adi?
definitely there. She's going to be there. She's too nosy. She's nosy. She always wants to see what's going on. But but I came down here and I was just like absolutely shocked, like the first time. And then I think, I was sort of like, well, who are these guys? Who runs it? Who runs this part? And I see you two sort of like similar age to me. And I was thinking, this is great. Like, you know what I mean? It's like something where people are just enjoying themselves. And when I talk to my friends as well, back in the UK, and I explain, there's a train going ahead. I explained that there's a party that, sort of 70, 80 people are there, no security, just goes on, no problems, no issues. And it's just a great time had by all. People don't believe that it can actually happen, but it's happening and it's amazing.
It's a bit of a hippie thing, man.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
Like we just want to do this. We don't want to earn any money with it. We just want to have a blast.
Yeah.
And get people in that are nice.
Yeah.
It's super simple.
Right,
There's
right.
nothing big about it.
Yeah.
It needs to. That's why it's called stupid. It's economically, it's a very stupid idea.
Yeah, because it's like you probably spend a lot of
Yeah,
time
this is
and
a.
money.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's an opportunity to
Well,
be able to do this.
Yeah, or a labour of love even, like that's
Totally.
as we call it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even for the rest of our lifestyle, it can be a bit stupid.
Yeah.
We're like settled citizens sometimes.
Well, and life can be hectic in
And life
this
can be
in
hectic
this
with
age.
family.
Yeah.
So how did you two meet? How did you two become friends?
We were 14, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were 14, and I remember I overheard his music on his earphones on his Sony yellow Walkman.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like. Is that TBM Mix 2 van
Who is
Lex
it?
van Koevoorde?
Who was it?
Well, it's silly Dutch mixing culture.
Right.
At the time,
Yeah,
when we were
yeah.
14,
Yeah,
there was this
exactly.
radio show
Yeah.
that had silly homemade mixing kind of
I like
culture.
Right.
these disco mixes.
Yeah.
So in that space, we were both listening to the same radio shows, etc. And I heard his music. We were like, I know that. And then she said, yeah. And then this happened.
Yeah. And you just became friends from there.
You know, blink with your
Yeah.
eyes, and you're 52 years old.
Yeah, we were in the same year, in the same village, same school.
Well,
So,
what village is that for?
Etteleur.
Etteleur? Whereabouts? So no, this is a new one. So
Of course.
this is
Nothing
good.
you need to remember. specifically.
Well, no, BJ, it's just like I just want to know. I just want to know. Is that like whereabouts?
It's in Brabant, near
Brabant,
near,
okay.
near Belgium.
Right.
Near
Okay.
Belgium.
Okay. So it's like very sort of like, is it like countryside sort of deal, or is it sort of small town?
That would be pretty. It's not. It's like a
it's-
satellite city to Rotterdam,
Right.
Breda.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's not countryside as you imagine. Oh, that's pretty. No,
Right.
it's not that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
no.
that.
It's sort of
It's
industrial countryside.
houses built in the 60s.
Right.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
A lot of people that were fed up in the cities ended up there, like my folks.
Right.
And they
same
came from
here.
Amsterdam. I'm actually still pissed with them why they moved out of Amsterdam. It was remote from anything related to culture or music,
Yeah.
or so it was like a vacuum in that sense.
Wow.
Super boring.
So how did you get your music then? So what was the first music you were listening to? What got you into sort of electronic music? What was your influences?
It was hip hop.
Hip hop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
It was the
Mostly.
start of it all.
It was,
Yeah.
it was the new thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it must have been like 85, 86
Yeah.
around that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that it became a thing here
Yeah.
in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And,
There's BDP and
Public
Tribal
Enemy.
Quest,
Tribal Quest,
Public
yeah.
Enemy,
Yeah.
NWA came out.
And how were you hearing that? Was that local radio or was it
it,
mixtapes?
it was all of the above.
Right, okay.
basically. But we were, I mean, they came quite far and quite thin spread. You know, these we were too young to go to proper concerts at the
At
beginning.
that time, yeah.
And then you would have like a cousin with a record, and he would put it on a cassette.
Play
for
it
you.
constantly on cassette
Yeah,
and play it over and over.
And,
Yeah.
you know, And but I think in Atelier, we were one of the few. You know,
Yeah,
not
wasn't
the
a
only
widespread
ones.
culture. No, it was
not the only ones, but we were one of the few that really liked it and embraced it.
Yeah.
And at some point, we even thought like, well, you know, we like it so much, maybe we can do something with it. Like, I don't know. I think we even cut tape. You know, like making loops.
Yeah.
Try to mix records, and we didn't have the proper equipment, or we did. You know, there was no YouTube where you could sort of say, you know, how does this work?
Crazy.
No, there was crappy magazines and sometimes a TV show where you would freeze the VHS to watch what these guys would have.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah,
right? It's a big vacuum of knowledge.
Yes.
Yet still, we would find out later that even guys like DJ Premier and all these guys, they used the same technology because their sample time and their samplers was too short, so it would speed up the record to get it in and tune it down.
Yeah, it's like 14 seconds.
Like you do that, and you would quickly get to the same point to overcome the challenges.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people had folks with proper music taste.
Right.
My parents did not have great music taste, but the record collection in my dad's collection, wow, that just wasn't great. So, but I still picked from there.
Yeah, but there must have been something that had a you know,
of course, 100%. Still, that music transports me back to that time. Yeah. No matter how silly it is.
Yeah. Is there any names that like sort of like would there be Dutch stars or would it be more?
What's the guy? The
I think I know.
Which guy?
We sampled from you know, like my mother, she was one of those, she liked the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Creedence Clearwater Revival and all that. Cat Stevens, you know,
White rock shit.
Yeah.
You know, so there's stuff to be sampled from there, but like mostly we hung out at your house, so we were closer to your dad's collection.
Yeah.
And James Last was one.
James Last,
yeah.
Remember James Last?
I do remember James Last.
And the other guy, what's the guy who I ripped him off a lot? The guy with the organs and shit. That's
shit. The bluesy.
No.
Not bluesy.
I don't know. But it's great music. It is super simple.
Yeah.
Well crafted. A bit. It sounds a bit like it's a joke.
Yes.
Like camp.
Camp. Yeah. It's like elevator music.
We had some Jimi Hendrix from your side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we
sampled all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We managed to take little clips of everything.
So
it didn't matter.
And clearly went to record stores to spend our hard-earned cash on vinyls that would then eventually end up, you know, getting scratched or lost or. That's what happens. But all the money went to the equipment. Like in that room behind the door is still the 1210s, the Technics that I bought when I was 16, and the other one when I was 17 after a year of hard work. They were really expensive. Stupid expensive.
You worked at the farmers.
Yeah, I was working in greenhouses. I was picking tomatoes as a job and cucumbers.
And to save the money to get your first pair of decks.
100%.
Flipping hell, I love the first pair of deck stories.
And
like the things people used to do, like. And you say, I hear you say that you were sampling. So did you jump into making music quite early? Was that something you did?
16, 17?
Yeah.
I think we had our first Amigas and.
You use Amigas,
You know, it becomes at one point you really want to.
Yeah.
So you collect all the stuff and you whatever you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
And you try to, you know, but it's you just make there's a lot of failed experiments there. But at one point it's sort of, there's a drum computer, there's this Atari, and it sort of listens to the drum computer. Wow, you know, and that's when we sort of invited some other friends.
Cubase.
Very
V1 of Cubase.
On Atari.
On Atari.
Yeah.
1040 ST.
The 1040 ST, yeah. Because but I went down the Amiga route. I had Octave, so I was a tracker. Kid.
Yeah, we had that competition. Your nephew had Pro Tracker.
Oh, he's a Pro Tracker guy.
Yeah, I borrowed his rig for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Could you make anything with a tracker?
Just 2 weeks ago, this guy found a hidden cassette with all the stuff from our 16, 17-year-old.
No, it was actually I found just the results of that like 1 or 2 weeks. And it was nice and horrible at the same time.
There was so much nonsense.
It's frightening when you find really old tapes or like.
But so many
Music.
good memories
absolutely.
of spending time together and really finding it the most important stuff in the world.
All right.
Exactly.
And it's passion is never boring.
No.
Is it?
No, not at all. That's I mean, you could certainly. I'm certainly.
I'm
full of
tempted to
passion.
ask, how about you?
How about me? No, what?
Yeah, well, how did you get started?
Me, my first introduction to jungle specifically, because I was listening to hip hop, like I said, I was Public Enemy.
How old are you?
I'm 49. I'll be 50.
Right,
Yeah,
similar.
so we're similar back to you, just slightly ahead of me, but I'm 50 in January. So so I'll be 50. But I started off listening to a lot of hip hop, and then it was like pirate radio mostly. There was a radio station called Kiss FM that became a commercial radio station, but that used to be pirate. And my brothers used to play it, and I used to hear a lot of like jazz funk and like, soul to soul before they were famous and stuff. So I was there right at the inception of Loose Ends and but then at the same time I'd hear Duran Duran and like the synth pop stuff, and then my mum would play a lot of calypso and like.
There's a
like
great blend.
Sparrow, yeah. My dad played like Ray Charles and George McRae, and so like I just
You
sort
got
of grew up.
proper musical education.
Yeah, and, sort of weirdly, yeah. Like even from my older siblings, it was a rich like soup of different styles. And then obviously you had the inception of like hardcore, jungle. I was there just then, sort of like 93, 94. As a kid, there's a girl's house opposite my mum and dad's house, and she used to have the radio. She could for some reason she could tune into to Rush FM, but I couldn't get it on my side of the street for some reason. And I don't know whether they just did a slight adjustment to the area or whatever, but then all of a sudden I could get it and I could tape it. And it was Rush FM, which was a very famous pirate radio station that started, and that's where I got to hear, like, when it still had the 4/4, like hardcore, still had like that 4/4 thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was there just as the 4/4 was like being lost. So it's like 93, 94, maybe, like.
And when you were into hip hop, did you also follow the British? We had Silver Bullet.
So we had Silver Bullet, we had Blade,
we had
Hijack, Son of Noise, absolutely,
Derek
yeah.
B.
Derek B, absolutely, yeah. He was our, superstar, wasn't he? 'Cause he got into the charts.
Right.
And then you had Silver Bullet, obviously with 20 Seconds to Comply, who featured obviously, rest in peace, MC Comrade.
Oh, really?
Was I think he left. I think the story is he left just before they got famous. I think that's the story. But I can't. Sorry, rest in peace, Comrade. I can't remember. It's one of them ones whether he left just before or just something like that. But someone will correct me. Please don't hold me to that. Correct me on that story.
So imagine you guys were celebrating British hip hop in the UK and in where it came from. In the meanwhile, in Etteleur, in a shitty barn, we were jumping our asses off on Hijack.
That's amazing that you knew about Hijack,
This, it was so hard. It was so obnoxious.
My friend Derwin Bailey, his older brother, Sean Bailey, was part of Son of Noise, who were like, you had Hard Noise, and then there was like a splinter group, and Son of Noise, and so that's where we had a loose connection with them. And then obviously Blade, who was like an Armenian refugee, actually, who grew up in Lewisham. He became really, really famous with a couple I can't remember the name of that bloody track that he had. It just blew up. I remember buying the record. I probably still got the vinyl somewhere. I remember buying the vinyl of Blade and him becoming massive. But that was sort of like sporadic. Like the British hip hop thing wasn't really that big when I was young. Everyone was watching Yo MTV Raps.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you had a friend that had cable TV, so my friend was Yasafa. We used to go to his house. He had NTL. Watch Yo MTV Raps, and that's where you got all the hip hop. And you'd always wait for the one tune, wait for Souls of Mischief, or you wait for the ones that you really liked. I never liked. So I'm gonna get cussed for this, but who's the Latino ones? Just kill them.
Cypress Hill.
Yeah, I hated Cypress Hill.
No, you hated Cypress Hill?
No, I couldn't stand them, man. I learned to appreciate them later in life. And I do like, I've got a lot of respect for Mugs, I've got a lot of respect for their thing.
I like it that they've got these silly voices.
But yeah, but at the time it annoyed me. So I was more like serious.
I was on the fence for like 10 seconds. I was like,
I'll go with it. Yeah. But I like Tin Dog and...
Tin Dog.
Tin Dog was like fuck
Tin
Compton,
Dog
man.
is
When
a
he
fucking
just
legend.
he was because he was the one that took on NWA.
Can you imagine that we went to this sort of legendary, at least in our minds, this legendary concert of Tin Dog in near where we grew up.
To see Tin Dog,
and that was we were 18 by that time, I think.
I guess so.
And it was like the fights broke out.
Oh man!
They brought in the riot police.
What? Oh my god!
Like, and I remember the rappers like Tim Dog and his crew. They were standing on stage like, guys, you know, like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
They were just going like, all right, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, I bet they did.
And we were in a weird way. We were kind of proud.
Yeah,
because they were the hardest.
Yeah, they were the hardest guys
on the planet.
Yeah.
And they were sort of impressed with.
He did a shout out on the next album.
Yeah,
he said he was like firing off countries.
Yeah,
like Belgium, Sweden.
Yeah,
and he said the Netherlands, some hard motherfuckers out there. I'm sure that was because of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it was so. Tim Dog was so expressive.
Was he's
angry and stupid.
Yeah,
but it was very potent.
Oh. Yeah.
But then after that, Onyx. But then once Tribe Called Quest, you know, once and to be honest, even pushing past that, once I discovered, I mean, this is jumping ahead quite a bit, but once I discovered like Ninth Wonder and people like that, you know, sort of jumping quite ahead. It's like I realised that hip hop was never going to die. Like, there's always going to be good hip hop, and I hate it when people sort of say, "Oh, there's so much shit out there." Yes, there's a lot of shit out there, but there's some amazing hip hop out there as well. And there's amazing music in general. I mean, I think the digital age has made it harder to find good music, but there is a lot of good stuff, and so I'm always hopeful. Well, and you guys give me hope because I wasn't even really a fan of dubstep. Just real quick, I was never really a massive fan, but you guys have made me appreciate it a lot more because you do have that bass heavy dubstep thing going on. And like I've learned to appreciate it way more because of you guys. So
that's achieved.
Thank you for that.
No, but it's serious. I personally discovered jungle very late on. For me, the transition between rap and hip hop, you know, Prodigy was a bridge.
Yeah.
But like a gateway to electronic music for me. Yeah. But it was still punky. And quite hardcore and rough around the edges.
Yes.
There was at the same time there was Two Unlimited and you know there was the same kind of period in time.
Oh, Two Unlimited.
And it was Geert who basically pulled me into jungle, and I was like, well, that's a lot.
Right. Okay.
It's leave it alone, man.
Okay.
You know, it's
so you're the junglist then.
He was original junglist.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. He was original junglist. Much more.
The first. It was the first jungle thing I've ever went to. I mean, I heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
I knew what it was. It was like, all right, this is different.
Yeah.
And then this friend invited me over to this party in '93, and it was some London. Cheers.
Yeah. Cool.
Some London DJs.
Yeah.
And it was also no, maybe not the first time, but I did smoke some weed and I didn't normally. So I had like a very weird but very fulfilling evening. And I was like, holy macro.
Where was? Do you remember where it was?
Tilburg. Yeah. 013 or Northern Light, I don't know.
And did you ever get a chance to experience jungle in the UK at all?
No.
Still, so you've never been to a jungle party? Still to this day?
Well, not in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, so my first time was just UK DJs over here.
But have you been to the UK since then to experience jungle?
Only just.
Well, we've experienced
recently.
Drum and bass.
Right. Okay. Right.
Drum and bass.
All the parties in the UK. Could you make sure we get these two guys over? Seriously, that's crazy. Yeah. Like you have to Rupture. So you got the
What's so different?
Yeah, but only.
What's so different?
Yeah, tell me. Sketch the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, the crowd is certainly different. Certainly, if you go to an event like Rupture, you see the demographic is very much more because what I found, look, and I don't want to get too heavy, obviously, but what I found really interesting here since I've been in Holland is how I'll go to a drum and bass party, and this is Amsterdam, Rotterdam. It's not really been any different anywhere. Maybe slightly different in Rotterdam, maybe a little bit. But I'll probably be the only one or two black faces in the crowd, right?
True that.
And it's interesting because obviously there was a period of time in the UK where it was a bit like that as well. But I think that's sort of kind of gone now, and like there's a lot of really great, sort of organisations and people that are pushing diversity and everything else, and have sort of redressed that. And so now when you see nights in the UK, you see a lot of women on lineup, see a lot of people of colour, see people LGBTQ and everything else, and that's all healthy. Here, and that's and I'm not picking on anyone, I'm not, having a go or anything like that, but you'll just see just like 6 white dudes, like, do you know what I mean, on a lineup, and that's fine, it's all good, because it's a different country, different demographic, I accept that. So that's the biggest thing, and I think that's had an effect and influence on what I hear as well. Yeah. Because I think here, a lot of people are sort of influenced. I can only really speak for drum and bass, right? I'm not having to talk about any other music really. I feel like here, most of the drum and bass is influenced by other drum and bass. Whereas I think in the UK, a lot of the drum and bass is influenced by other things outside of it. Mm-hmm. But I think there's some. I was in Nijmegen the other day. Nijmegen, yeah. And they were playing like a Nero thing. And I was listening to it, and I was just like, this is so far removed. And there was no criticism. Right. It was great to listen to. But it's so far removed from what I understand drum and bass and jungle to be.
Yeah, I get
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, in the same way that some people would hear like halftime drum and bass and sort of be like, is it drum and bass anymore? Are we still listening to drum and bass? That was the experience I had the other night, actually. And it was really interesting, though. Yeah. But then there's people like Invicta Audio who do like this incredible brand of sort of modern, sort of really sort of left field jump up that's very, very intense and hard to listen, to challenge and listen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then there's so much great music I've heard. I mean, you have him here a lot, Seven Headed, for example.
Yeah.
He's a great example of someone that is a very new sound to me, but I really enjoy listening to what he does.
Right. Yeah.
And there's DJs like Shredder and Ipkiss and Arturius, and like there's a whole bunch of and obviously you've got the legends like Addy J and Silver Funk and everyone else and all the guys at Footstepper, but like there's so many great DJs that play very differently here, and that is interesting. And but I wonder if it necessarily can it get out of Holland? Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether it can. That's the thing.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Because when you listen to what Lensman's doing, he's doing a very sort of like international.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Sounding thing. You can tell that his tunes you can imagine his tunes being played on the radio in America. For example.
Which kind of in that space, I felt that the neuro more sound designy, technological sounding drum and bass. I was surprised that Noisy had to travel so far.
Yeah.
But it is a very Dutch DNA.
It's definitely a Dutch DNA thing.
But it's resonant all over the world.
It's resonated. I think it's like, if anything, it's like you've got the one top 2, 3, and then you've got loads of sort of copies. Like, do you know what I mean? Basically. Sure. And that's not to be disparaging to anyone else, because obviously there's a lot of new sounds that come out. But I think Noisier were just like. But when I think about Dutch drum and bass, I'm sorry, I've got to make this point, because Dutch drum and bass in general, I think is fantastic, because when you think about Noisier, Lensman, Black Sun Empire, those three, like, they're in the top 20 all-time drum and bass artists. Do you know what I mean? They're all top-notch artists. I hope I haven't missed anyone. I'm trying to think. But, like, those three spring to mind.
Benga Boys, man.
The Benga Boys, yeah, too unlimited.
No, but seriously, I think the Netherlands have always been on the forefront of electronic music.
Absolutely, yeah.
Also in subculture.
Yeah.
But also, technology has democratized so much of music production.
Yeah.
So with one €2,000 laptop, you can do pretty much whatever.
Yeah.
So now there's so many subgenres and subgenres that I get confused.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that I do not like.
Yeah.
I was at Liquidity to discover there is a lot of drum and bass that I do not like. But there is specific stuff that I really, really like.
Yeah.
So it gets kind of complex to discover what you like a lot. Yet musically, if we play music or appreciate music, we tend to take hopefully unexpected turns to bullshit about a little bit.
Yeah,
So
sure.
exactly.
maybe put some hip hop in.
It is what we do amongst ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that?
Oh, you just play records. I go, really? Oh, okay.
Mm.
During a set, even, you know,
Yeah.
because we don't overproduce or super prepare.
Yeah.
So you know, we go like, oh wow, this is.
And the
this
weird thing
crazy.
is that sometimes
And
you'll play a thing,
Yeah.
and I'm going like, and then it takes much like when you introduced me to jungle for the first time. It takes me a bit of time to.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is really good. At
So,
first,
yeah.
at first sound, I was
great,
like,
isn't it?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. And then
It's the same. It's vice versa.
yeah,
I like it.
so
yeah.
there's a constant element of surprise in,
Yeah.
in the way we interact with music.
And have you always driven each other that way, sort of creatively, like and artistically? Would you say?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that when we were making music, things didn't always work out perfectly.
No, we also had different styles.
Yeah.
Or different likes. But we sort of, you know, our friendship sort of lets that coexist peacefully.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is that if you're serious about this shit, then it gets hard
Yeah,
to
exactly.
let things coexist and just okay, you know, we're
I don't really
stupid.
like that beat, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have a business objective or a
No.
professional objective
Yeah.
with this
No.
whole thing.
Yeah.
So that liberates us from
it
any
was-
obligations
Yeah, and
to
it was
do it
it was
just
back
right.
then, and it still is now. And
Yeah.
I think in between, you know, we didn't like we were DJs in between,
Yeah.
right?
A
We
long
only-
time we were not DJs.
exactly. So some people would say like, "Oh yeah, you're so old school," and
Yeah.
like, "I don't know, I'm just
Just playing what you like.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're just starting to get to know how one should DJ. You know? We
Well,
used
with
to,
the new tech.
exactly, we used to know back then, you know, with the techniques
vinyl
and
and
all
the-
that stuff. But
Were
then-
you like scratch DJs or anything like that?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
And mixed DJs.
Yeah.
We did a lot of. I did a lot of DJing in school high school parties
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Right.
And I would find it the most important thing in the world. I would get seriously nervous.
Yeah.
It's
good.
Oh yeah, which is amazing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm
I
gonna
still-
do this.
yeah, when I get nervous now, I know I'm going to have a good set. Like
Yeah.
that, because, do you know what I mean? Because sometimes if you're not nervous enough, you might not care enough.
I agree.
But if you're just a little bit nervy, then yeah, it can be, yeah, that can make you sort of fix up a little bit.
And nervous may be the wrong word. Nervous sounds like it's not a good thing, but it's more excited.
Yeah.
Then it is nervous.
Yeah, I understand, yeah. But no, with me, it's definitely nervous. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, no, I just don't want to.
Oh, but I had a month ago. I had imagined this one transition, and I was excited for the transition. It's nerd shit, right?
Yeah.
So I was like excited. I was like, dude, I was late. I couldn't catch up. So I was like, I just spun it back like I'm gonna start over.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to wait for my
Yeah.
transition. Fuck off. You know.
Yeah.
for a live crowd. Yeah.
Then things get so simple. So I feel like every time when I'm in doubt, should I? This is a bit silly to do this. Should I do it? I'm in doubt. Will it look cool? Will it be good? Always yes, do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Never. When in doubt, yes.
You should never second think.
And that's
If you
also
can,
like that's the whole stupid thing as well. It's like it's a little mantra, you know, and people sometimes accuse us of it being like a really well thought through concept.
yeah,
Like we love your concept.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you like the concept, but
Yeah.
there was not such thing as like a pre-planned concept that much. It's more of this feeling that sort of fits what we need out of music and life, right? And then when you take stupid as this little mantra, it's like what you said. I don't know if I should do it. I might come off stupid. It might be
Silly or dumb.
You're basically just giving yourself license to do whatever.
do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're always giving yourself that freedom. So I mean, so go on.
No, and then you'd still need within you got to not be stupid enough to lose people willing to work with you.
Yeah.
Or cooperate or be part of the
Yeah.
thing. Right? When we started, we really started with nothing. And like literally 2 years ago when we would go to a party, we'd not be chatting to people because we wouldn't know anyone in the scene.
We were just these
Now
two-
that has
two old
changed
geezers.
thanks to this like certain key players. Like we got Job and Fotis and Casper, Adi. They're super connectors. They drag, this guy, that
Well,
guy.
yeah, and he dragged me down here. Yeah.
So you need those people to still stand by you, even though you're doing silly stuff.
No.
And that's highly enjoyable. So thank you to all these people.
Yeah. Shout out Addy particularly. And then like there's my clip that sort of helped launch me a little bit because I got a lot of gigs out of that clip when I did the little rewind on one of the tunes I played here. I think it was like the Christmas one, yeah. And
when you were sweating like a motherfucker.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was hot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. This was pre-air conditioner era.
Yeah, it's pre-air conditioner era. Yeah. It was good. It was good fun. Yeah,
Super nice.
So what's the future then? I mean, obviously, this is what it is for now, but the brand is obviously growing. It's evident that there's like, you're playing out different places. Stupid Crew is starting to get out there now. Like, what do you envision to be the future for you guys?
You go. I don't know.
I was hoping you would say it. No, we don't really know. We're sort of enjoying it the way it's going. I think we have since we're the two of us. There's sort of our regular lives, our friendship. So it still is this sort of triangle between all these things and the music. And sometimes we get really ambitious, in our minds. We say, "Wow, what if we do this?" And then, of course, it's mainly Olaf who teaches me, just make sure that you, at least write down what your blue sky thing would be.
Okay.
We would
North Star.
Yeah, it's like we would love to play in this on fabric. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then of course it's sort of silly or stupid.
Stupid.
Or
is it?
Or is it?
And then
and so that's what we try to sort of allow ourselves to dream and do these try little things and see what happens. And I think I do believe that gets us a little bit further, and also just not get ahead of ourselves too much,
right?
But just I don't know. I really like the connections with people, and from the connections come invitations, and
And the opposite, people ask us now for collaborations, and sometimes it's just too much because we can't facilitate all. We sometimes get repeat requests, and I'm like, wow, should we do the same thing again? I'm not sure. We should do sillier stuff, just recently we did the genre bending event, like let's get other influences of music a little bit in. The next event is super jungle and drum and bassy, so we can go in every direction, whatever we feel like is right. But I think the collaborations are where the magic lies, to match out, to team up with new people, do new stuff.
Exactly.
And
it's almost sorry, dude.
No,
go ahead, man.
It's like it's something we say a lot of times. Like let's say we are thinking of this drum and bass event, and then we're thinking of a lineup, and it's all drum and bass, and it's all the genres are touching each other, and go like, we need something to break this. That's always the thought that we have. Okay. Like, this is like, it's getting like a little bit of a monoculture, So let's just mess this up with something. So we're always trying to break our own mold, so we don't have one, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
And be aware of not having just dudes on lineup. Always try to have a female on, have people of color on. We don't always succeed, but we aim.
It's difficult in Holland, man. Like, I'm going to be honest with you.
But I'll say that there's a lot of girls that play now.
I think
proper girls that are playing.
Yeah, I think
there's a whole list.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of women certainly DJing from what I can see, and from what I can see in certain parts of. Because like I said, I've been to when you go to Den Bosch and places like that, it's like, okay, wow. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you notice the difference. And that's no criticism, it is what it is. And I'm here and it doesn't bother me.
You know what happened yesterday? I was yesterday in my bed watching the series about hip-hop in the Netherlands.
Desperado. Sorry. Yeah.
There's a new series out on VPRO. They make a series about Dutch hip-hop.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
That's mostly born in Rotterdam.
And Amsterdam, Breda, Venlo, all the in Eindhoven were big. So yesterday I was in my bed watching the 2 first episodes, and then I remembered that we went to the Ice-T concert in Nighttown. It must have been 89-ish.
88, 89.
And I remember somehow a recording of it surfaced. Remember that, like 2 years ago. Some person on the internet sent me the file. And from the audio, I vividly remember the whole evening, because there was a riot going on. This is the time when a lot of
fights were at the hip hop concerts.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember that opposite of what you're explaining, you'd be the only black person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, we'd be the only white kids in the room in
Yeah.
Rotterdam,
Right.
being very careful
Mm-hmm.
before you get your ass kicked. We would not be too loud, but it was the total opposite.
Well, no. The hip hop events in London, they would have been mostly black as well. It's not. That's not two ways about it. My experience I'm talking about is just in the modern era here. That's what I'm talking about, being the only black person in the room. I mean, I'm sure maybe at some point the black community in Holland were more connected with the jungle scene here. I would imagine. It sounds like it was more of a scene that was more mixed in jungle, particularly in Rotterdam. It sounds like.
Yeah.
But that's not the case now. And there's lots of reasons why that is, and there's people have different theories and different ideas. But I think there's ways to counteract that, and I think that people have to be quite deliberate in order to make sure that it is counteracted. But yeah,
How do you imagine? How would that work, you think?
Well, I mean, look, I was taking. Loz is going to hate me for saying this on camera, but I jokingly said, "Oh, I noticed Cheeky had a Black History Month this week, this night." Do you know what I mean? Right? Because they had Loxy, Mampy Swift, and now tonight they got Ink, right? So I joked with him last week, and I said, "Oh, is it Cheeky's Black History Month?" Because I was just, and I said, "But good, nice one." Not that we're trying not to book other people, but sometimes you have to kind of go, "Oh shit, wait a second, I haven't booked it." You know what I mean? And it's obvious that's what happened. I don't know if that's the case. He'll be the only one that will be able to tell you why he did that. But it was noticed that there was like 3 black headliners, right? And whether or not it was deliberate, whether it was just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Only Loz will be able to tell you. And I'm not saying big up yourself, Loz. I'm not saying what you did or what you didn't do. But I noticed as a black person, I noticed that. That's
Which
what I'm
in
saying.
itself is already remarkable that it is
Yeah.
right?
So you had, and it was a great, Loxy, Mampy, and tonight you got Ink. So, and it's not, again, it's not like he didn't, I don't know if he actually thought about it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But I noticed, as someone of colour, I noticed that, that wasn't happening. And then I think it was in January. I don't think they've had, they might have had a black headliner, but I don't think they've had a black headliner since. And that's fine. I'm not saying they have to, but I just noticed. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, you can only pick from where you're picking, and there's people that will be getting annoyed at me saying this but with my history of the Black Junglist Alliance, with my, everything that happened with Hospital Records and all these different things, and I've obviously, had no problem with them since. I'm just glad that some things have been brought to light, and that you've got EQ50 as well, that's been doing such important work, in regards to getting, more representation of, with women in the scene, behind the decks, behind the mics, on the radio shows. I just think it's a healthy thing. It makes for the whole scene to be healthier.
But it's also like the crowds are often very, very masculine.
Yeah, and I think if you look, I'm
It's changing though. I feel
it's so weird, right? Like my missus, we do a thing with Jungle Sunday, Cafe Vocal. It's finished there now. We're moving to a new location, but then my missus came one night and she played some records. And as a woman just standing behind the decks, everyone responded to her differently. Just instantly.
Really?
Yeah, you could just see how...
in what way?
More positive, absolutely more positively. Not because I think it's just sort of like, oh, that's different. Do you know what I mean? I think especially in that space, it's like a punk rock bar. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of guys playing metal usually in there. You know what I mean? So with their shirts off. So I just think just seeing a woman in that space just like, oh, okay, cool, this is good. I mean, I've seen it happen multiple times. I remember in this place called Rye Wax in Peckham, we had this party, and my friend Squiff, who is a black woman, an incredible DJ, and maybe one of the best vinyl DJs you're ever going to see. And she's like 5'2", and she looks like a model, but she just is an incredible. Her looks have nothing to do with it, but she just happens to look like a model, right? So don't cancel me, okay? But anyway, but she plays like proper drum and bass. And she was playing at an event I was doing, and it was so funny. This girl came in to this party, and I went upstairs to the toilet. She sort of walked past me down the stairs. She went in, obviously saw Squiff on her decks, and she came up the stairs, and I heard her on her phone. She goes, "There's a black girl playing jungle in this record shop." Like, she literally just, and all of a sudden it was like 15, 20 girls just turned up and just came downstairs because they just like they hadn't seen a black woman play jungle.
Really?
Like at that point, at that time. Obviously now that's changed, but I just think it was just really interesting. I think we all want to see something that pertains to us sometimes, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get me wrong, I love Dot Scott. He doesn't look nothing like me. He's one of my favourite DJs, doesn't matter. DJ Sneak, it's one of my favourite DJs. Absolutely love him. You know, Honey Dijon, fucking Marcel Detman. Like, none of these people look anything like me, but I love them, right?
Yeah.
But like, as DJs, you know. Mike Denert, I love Mike Denert. But like, because I really like, you got to do a techno one. Can you do a techno one?
Do I what?
Do a techno.
A techno event.
Yeah, do a proper techno one.
Not likely, no. There's enough of those. There's enough.
No, but you're talking techno, that fast stuff. I'm talking like sub 135 proper old school techno, like Detroit and all that proper.
Yeah, that's more tempting than the techno.
Yeah,
scene
not the
nowadays.
stupid fast stuff. No.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
But-
no plans to do a label or
Jesus Christ,
You
that's a
gonna
lot
put
of
any-
work, man.
Yeah. We were like carefully discussing if we should ever print T-shirts. You know,
Right.
It's that level.
That's the kind of discussion
But
we're
we
having.
want to have the T-shirt
Yeah.
proper. We
Yeah.
want to have them
Yeah, it's
proper.
we could print some, you know, and
It's gonna be expensive and good quality.
Yeah, they're really nice.
But then we were discussing like, we could collaborate with some fashion designer. That's more interesting, right?
yeah.
And you know,
and then we ended up not getting around to it because
of
life
course,
happens.
life,
Yeah.
you know, and we might or we might not, but we're not going to do cheap T-shirts. And can I just sort of circle back to what you were saying?
Yeah,
before?
please.
Because I like to think of ourselves, you know, we like collaboration,
Yeah.
right? But we also like to think of ourselves as allies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So we can be allies for the black community,
Yeah, absolutely.
but allies for all kinds of communities.
Yeah, man.
And that's you know, we try to keep an open mind, and you know that's hard, right?
Yeah.
Because the minute you think you have an open mind, you don't.
Yeah.
I'm so open-minded. No, I'm
I
not really.
know, but
then,
the problem.
so what we
Yeah.
try to do, and it's not just these two middle-aged white dudes. It's other people, you know,
Absolutely.
giving us some sort of message. Sometimes like, you might want to look into that, or these people are doing really nice things.
Yeah.
And then it takes a little bit of an open mind, going like, all right, well, let's go see them,
Yeah.
or let's invite them,
Yeah.
or I don't know, let's get on our bikes and or on the train or whatever, go there, and you know that's something we like to keep doing.
Yes,
I mean,
sure.
It's something that we take an effort in doing that.
Yeah, and avoid monoculture. Avoid
I think that's the one.
plagiarizing ourselves.
Yeah.
That will be the worst.
Yeah.
Us being unoriginal, uninspired.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like about you guys, because you. Sorry to finish what you're saying. Sorry.
No, we also. Sometimes I'm on the show and I'm thinking, maybe we should do a dubstep event, man. Fucking dubstep is so hard. I don't like dubstep. But then imagine a whole night of dubstep. You would like to have a little bit of variety in an evening. So that spirit of mashing everything together, as much as the world is one big melting pot of
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
Things influence each
Yeah.
other, and the celebration of that
Yeah,
is
And
so much
and
fun.
we have to be careful not to appropriate.
Okay.
And it's not only cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
It's also like, you know, we had a friend with a trumpet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That can be appropriation in the way of, we can have people with instruments. Hey, you guy with an instrument. Yeah, just do your thing here. You know, over our music.
Yeah.
Cool. You see, we do instruments.
He
Yeah.
looked
You
at
know,
that.
that's
Yeah, no, I
that's
understand.
not really.
No, I get it. I
So
like the
he-
way you put that. Yeah. I like the way you put
the
that.
guy really needs to bring something. We really need to listen. And if you don't like it, oh, cool. It was a nice experiment.
All right, I've got a slightly tougher question for you guys.
here we go.
Gun to your heads. Gun to your heads. You got to pick one genre as your which is your genre, because you've represented a lot of different sounds at the time I've known you, but I feel like there's slight differences in what your favourites are. So what would be your favourites?
I would love to hear your perception of what do you think is our favorite. I'm good at that.
Well, yeah, you see, you're trying to put it back on me. You're trying to put the mirrors. Like, ha. Yeah, all right. No, it's evident that you. It seems like you're obviously the junglist, or more pertaining to jungle. From the sets I've heard, your stuff have more of a jungle influence to them. But you're both from a hip hop core, and that's evident. but there's like a sort of, dare I say, like not I don't want to say pop, but like there's like a fun. My voice went funny. My voice went funny then. There's a fun.
It's a bit of a scary word.
But it's like a fun element to what you do, and it's interesting you mentioned the Venga Boys and things like that. I wonder if that's more of an influence than you're prepared to admit.
It is, yes. I think you are 100% spot on. The thing is that I've my career as a professional, as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
My very first, not first, but one of the biggest music video I directed is Better Off Alone.
No way!
I was the director of that music video, and I did some Venga Boys videos.
Venga Boys
this to
videos
me
as well?
gives them like a feeling of, oh yeah, that was a nice era.
Can I just say, for commercial pop dance tunes, that's that's an absolute fucking
It is
banger.
hardwired into
It's absolute
everyone's subconscious.
I can't lie. I love that. Do you think you're better off alone? See, everyone
Now-
everyone knows it.
Yes, everyone knows it. So yes, that is ingrained into. And what else I'll say is that you're not wrong in saying that I also really enjoy the effect of the music.
Yeah.
So I'm not a purist at all. I love working towards a certain effect.
Yes.
So I love build-ups and drops
Yeah.
and breakdowns and doing stuff to I less enjoy for myself music that's continuous.
Oh, I
That's
see.
flat.
Yeah. Okay.
So I really like the effect of the moment.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know why. But
No, that's fine. Everyone's different. No, everyone's
that
different.
is, I translate that a bit as pop vibe. As
Yeah.
That's what pop music does.
Yeah.
It puts you in this space.
Every 15
right?
seconds, according to the formula.
Are you like
15 seconds?
It's 15 seconds. Yeah.
Oh.
There's like a formula for like pop music that you have to have a major change for every 15 seconds.
That's really short.
Yeah.
So you think a Jive Bunny?
Oh shit.
Right. Yeah.
Jive Bunny?
If you
Boston mixer.
analyze those tunes and think how long they had each track playing. Especially like Wake Up, Little Susie.
Yeah.
Where
I
kind of,
remember the
come
track
on
was so
everybody,
silly.
come on everybody.
Yeah.
And then it'd be the next tune.
Yeah.
15, 20 seconds
yeah,
later,
yeah,
you're in
yeah.
another tune.
It is like a collage.
It was a
little
collage,
bits.
yeah.
Yeah. And
They're genius.
that kind of tracks
Yeah.
were the tracks that we connected over
Right,
for the
okay.
first time. That kind of mixing
that's
culture.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
That was in that time.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And are you like
Bunny, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, you just unlocked the,
Yeah,
you
I
opened
know.
the door in my brain that has been closed for decades.
yeah, that's a problem. I have.
So continuing on this pop thing, are you then a people pleaser as a DJ?
I'm by nature, yes, I try to resist it at times, but I do love to score
Yeah.
in that sense. You know, I like to hunt for the effect and then see the effect at work. And you know, I can be, maybe I'm mistaken, but that's a bit what the DJ does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To hunt for that. Are you listening? Are you listening? It?
Yeah, but
There's
there's
a little
ways
bit
of
of that
making people.
involved.
But there's ways of making people listen.
Yeah, sure.
So you
Sure.
can, you can shock them,
Remember
or
the
you
first
can.
time you played here?
Yeah.
The one time you played here, I literally said you took me to depths I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
imagine possible
Yeah.
because you're a
We were-
slow builder.
Yeah,
You go deep, slow, long,
Very much.
and you're like, shit, I'm a different zone now.
yeah,
I'm more
yeah.
peak and then.
Yeah.
We're still discussing your set
Oh,
sometimes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because deep is the word.
Because you
Yeah.
don't hesitate to leave a track on for like 5 minutes.
No, because
the track
to
do
let
its
the track
bit.
do its work. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, that's what I'm saying. It's like I love comedy in a big time. Like I'm a massive comedy fan. I love the sort of gladiatorial nature of it. That everyone gets up on stage. It's almost
MCing.
Like, it's MCing.
In
It's
a
like
way.
going to battle, with the crowd and stuff. And in the same way, you say that you like to have those highs and lows, lots of highs within a short period of time. There's a comedian called Patrice O'Neill who's one of my favourites, and he used to love bombing almost in order to win the crowd back.
Yeah.
And it's a weird sort of thing, but I love, there's certain tunes as artists that I have on my label that if I play a tune of theirs, everyone stops dancing, but everyone's still listening. No one leaves, but no one's dancing.
Interesting.
And I love that sort of anti-DJ thing. It's bullshit because it's because people are like, no, Chris, it's because you're a shit DJ. No, I do it on purpose actually, and I do play tunes that I know are going to actually make people go, what the fuck am I listening to? Like, do you know what I mean? Because that's another way of making people listen. So I enjoy that, but I have to say, there's a lot of fun to be had when you're playing a set of music that everyone seems to like. Do you know what I mean? There's always that, but I do enjoy challenging myself and challenging a crowd.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I listen back to my Cheeky set, and I know, for example, there's tunes that I probably shouldn't have played, but I did anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I was just like, well, what am I gonna? I'm not gonna not play them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I like.
I'm gonna.
That's
Yeah.
in that sense, I've the same mindset but a different effect in mind.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But, and it's also to do with the way my brain works. I'm easily distracted.
Yeah.
And then I get bored quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I leave a track running for 5 minutes, then I'm assuming everyone else in the room is bored as well.
Right. Yeah.
Which is clearly nonsense.
No.
If you do your job right as a DJ, then that is not true.
No.
per se.
Not at all.
I feel we haven't quite gotten there yet.
No.
We haven't
Yeah,
quite
maybe it's a
mastered
stage
that
of
trait.
maturity
Yeah.
also
So-
of development.
So how do you feel? What's your position on this? Like in terms of
I think I'm really drawn to hybrid stuff.
right.
That's also how I experienced jungle for the first time. It was like sped up hip hop,
Yes.
and at one point there's Miami bass and all those kinds of genres, and there's new stuff. So I'm really attracted to anything that's new and weird. So that hybrid stuff, like for instance, Samurai Breaks.
Yes.
I love his because he has the old school rave and jungle, but there's some really intelligent drumming going in, and I just need like I mean that's what both of us have actually, but I really like drums and syncopated stuff. You know, it just keeps my mind nicely occupied. And, yeah, I mean it's the same with hip hop, of course. You know, it needs to have a little bit of soul. I don't know, but you know, like swing or just a little bit of
syncopation and the reference to hip hop is always satisfying when you go to Shades or G Jones and E-Prom, those guys. Everything they put out, it's got hip hop in its core. I feel.
Did you E-Prom, who's on 1984?
I'm not sure what he's on.
So he's American producer.
American.
Yeah. Have you not heard his stuff on? He's got a couple of EPs. So Alex Perez's label.
Yes.
Yeah.
1984. He's got a couple of EPs.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think I've heard
amazing.
He's
amazing.
Technically amazing.
Yeah.
But
But it's
sometimes
interesting ideas as
he
well.
brings some rave shit that is still.
He's
It
incredible.
sounds poppy, but then it's so hard and so dissonant.
But the thing is, he's one of them people that I'm like, damn it, I wish I could make shit. Like, do you know what I mean? He's sort of like, you hear his
There's
stuff.
a bucket list. I would love a guy
Yeah.
to play
Who would
here.
you, so who? That was actually a question I was going to ask you guys. Like, you know, assuming no obstacle to.
He's a shared number one.
He's a
Is share number one, A-Prom?
Yeah, but there's a few other number ones.
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
I would say I would love to have a Gas Lamp Killer.
Oh shit.
Wow, okay.
We had because he and his style.
He's the
kind
mixy guy.
He's
Yeah.
Very
he's
eclectic.
very
very
eclectic.
eclectic, yeah,
But he brought heartbeats and rare grooves and world music into one world, and just blows your mind when he's playing.
Okay.
Well, we had the new supergroup Fear.
Right. Okay.
And they were bucket list for me
Right.
because they make amazing stuff, and even though their repertoire is still tiny, but the combination.
When you say
of
a
these
supergroup,
guys,
who is that?
it's Fear. It's Thijs of
Right.
Noisia.
Ah, okay.
It's help me out
Machine
here.
drum.
Machine Drum,
Holly.
and Salvador Breed.
Yeah.
Well, Machine Drum and Tyson were enough for me. But
Well,
I don't
the-
know.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure who the other two
Machine
are.
Drum wasn't here. He was
Okay. Oh, did you have him here? Did you have him here?
well,
Yes.
Fear played here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was amazing. So that's already happened.
Yeah.
Well, who else is there? I don't know. Currently.
Is there someone
Venga
from...
Boys.
Venga Boys, yeah.
Venga Boys any day. Or LSDJ.
Do you know what? Do you know what?
No, but there's also a lot
Venga
of rap
Boys, they
artists.
did-
I would love to do a hip hop edition.
Okay.
But then maybe not only hip hop, but a hip hop thing in another even. I don't know. But
Well, are there any Dutch hip hop artists that you would love
definitely, I would love to have Artje. I would love to have
Yes.
Opgezwollen or
to? Oxford, yes, yeah, I know these guys.
Extins.
Yeah.
Obviously, and there's a lot of young Dutch cats that I don't have top of mind, but there's a lot of young kids that make amazing stuff. as you said, a
Yeah.
lot of young kids that make shit,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a lot that make also really nice stuff.
You know what? The thing is, I don't even mind if they make shit. It's the fact that everyone thinks their stuff is so amazing, and they're not prepared to even entertain the idea that maybe it isn't as like, because you know what I mean. And I just think it's hard sometimes when you want to tell someone, like, look, there's a lot of, like, you know, look, someone in my position I've heard like tens of thousands of pieces of music, right? People sending me demos when I was at hospital, when I was at, you know, even with RNS and, you know, my own work with Perspective Records, you know, just hundreds of thousands of pieces of music I've heard, like, you know, so many female vocalists, for example, going, you know what I mean, doing the Britney Spears thing, you know, loads of male vocalists wanting to sound like, you know, well, Chris Martin, to be quite honest, and there's so many people that try and just sound like, and there's not many people that are trying to sound, well, unlike, you know, so to speak.
Yeah, original.
And it's very frustrating because I don't know if it's just hard to be, I don't know if it's just actually really hard to be truly original. You know what I mean? The last artist I heard, like in Jungle anyway, or in drum and bass, who was really making, like, I was like, geez, this guy's making something I've never heard before. Was great. There's a guy called Grey Code. I don't know if he's on. He had a couple of albums on Metalheads, and I thought the stuff that he was making was really, really interesting because I hadn't heard anything like that. But I could hear that it was definitely European. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because of the nature of his music, because it's very orchestral in nature.
Wow.
But I mean, please, if you've got anyone out there that's making original drum and bass, original dubstep, original hip hop, Dutch, or otherwise, I want to hear it. Please send me some stuff. I'm always
curious for your bucket list.
Yeah, who would you want?
Or
They're not all shared. Surely there's got to be people that you want particularly, maybe.
You have to know we know each other for such a long time.
No, okay.
I love Atje.
Atje, of course.
I'm
yeah.
thinking,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah.
I think I would also love
definitely do that.
Casper.
Casper, yeah, with dubstep guy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Next week, next Saturday is Mala in Melkweg.
Oh yeah, he's in Melford, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
He was in Germany over the weekend, wasn't he?
Possibly.
Yeah, Yuri, who was, that's why I didn't have the address, because he always brings me here. Yuri, he went to see, shout out Yuri, how you doing, mate? And shout out Lee as well, in the house. Gotta give Lee a big shout, he's here. Sorry. But he went to see Mala, he said the sound system was like, he said it was like life-changing.
Really?
Yeah, he just said he had like a sort of religious experience,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
because he said the sound system was so perfect. He'd never experienced anything like it. He said it was just like immense, and then Malo was playing on that.
Yeah, well,
And
that's.
Khan and a few other people.
I had a similar experience when he was playing in Lo-Fi on King Shiloh system.
Right, okay.
And this Saturday is King Shiloh again.
Oh.
Big up to King Shiloh.
Okay.
They've got the best sound system, well, at least in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
It's like you know.
Where are they playing?
The Melkweg.
Oh,
In the big room.
Yeah, the big room. Oh, see, you know what? I still haven't been in the big room, have I?
You have never been in the big room? Dude.
I know. I was just because I'm always there for cheese.
It's an amazing sounding room, but
I've heard it's incredible. Yeah.
The sound is amazing.
I was meant to go to Rupture, but I think I was away.
Same guy who managed the acoustics and the insulation in Melkweg and in Paradiso and all these places did this room. That's why this sounds so good.
So good in here. Okay.
Big up to Peter.
Shout out Peter. Well, we could put all the links in the description if they've got people
Can do. Show notes.
and stuff you want to showcase. So no label for now.
No.
Are you two going to get back to making music, or do you think?
We were talking about that the other day.
Oh, it's the hot topic. All right.
Hot topic, man.
Good.
Jesus Christ.
No. We have
used to-
different visions on this. I think.
Okay.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Okay,
Tell me
let's.
what's
All
your
right.
vision.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start. What's your vision?
I'm
No,
curious of your vision, Geert.
Well, I mean, I do sort of metal. How do you say it? Not metal. I fuck around in my little studio sometimes, but I don't make this type of music. That I don't do bass music. Sometimes I make music for my audiovisual productions. You know, I work
stuff.
for. Oh, I work for TV and sometimes TV promotion. And then we sometimes need this soundtrack, like trailer type stuff. I love doing that, you know, mucking about and doing something not spectacularly good, but I enjoy the process so much, and I try to make it like, oh, this is almost like real music now.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then I
like grown-ups music.
yeah, like grown-up music. And then it's get aired, and I'm like, wow, it's airing in like 10 countries. I'm like, wow, I made that.
Yeah.
And that's like the
Well,
complete
you get your publishing
fulfillment.
sorted. You all sorted your publishing. Okay.
So it's like, you know, I enjoy that process a lot, and I like that there's sort of no pressure, you know. And then, but I do also fondly remember the times when we were making music back in the days, and that also sometimes just calls for a bit of a revival, or at least of us doing it. So I mean, you know, I have the shit. I don't have the time, but you know, it would be great if maybe we do some experimenting. But then again, I heard you talking about, we should collaborate with producers and that stuff, and I'm like, is that really what we want? I don't know.
Like you would
This
want
was
to do
like
it yourself.
But this is like fun, you know, fun and
Means to
games
an
for
end,
us talking about this, right? It's
Yeah,
not
I think
like
it's interesting.
super serious.
I've been making music, you know, ever since we were young. We abandoned it and then I got back to it, and I did basically the same as you. I made music for my own ads as director, and I enjoyed the fuck out of that. That was a lot of fun. And then I abandoned music for some reason because I got too busy. I traveled a lot when I was as a freelance director, so music stopped. And you know, every week I find myself thinking, wow, I should have get back into it because I got so many ideas. I just don't have the stamina and the gut and the patience to learn a new platform, start all over again. Yet again, I remind myself that it's so much easier now. You know, back in the day, we would have a lot of machines connected with stupid wires, and anything that you would do, you would reset it, it would be gone.
It would take us like a full afternoon to get like a hi-hat pattern going.
To get started, And now it is it's more painting by numbers, which is what I not like about it. You know, you get your sample collection together and you place it, and it sounds proper within a few minutes.
Without even really trying.
I don't like that. I don't like it being so simple or easy.
So we're kind of shy about it. Actually.
Also that, but you know, give us one day in a room and we'll flesh out 30 ideas for tracks. Titles and vocals or non-vocals or melodies or beats that we want to get inspired by.
We should experiment, you know. But maybe instead of us trying to be like solo guys or just the two of us, we should just collaborate, you know. That's what's the whole thing is here.
That was exactly exactly
before
my
there
idea.
was just you and I and just, you know, listening to music, drinking beer, and then we invited some people, and then it became a party.
We're not that different. That's because I agree. I think it's there's so many great producers around us that make amazing music. I don't need credit. I need to make the thing. You know,
maybe that's what we're different. I'd like my face on the sleeve.
On the vinyl.
On a picture disc.
The track is the goal. So if I collaborate with person X, Y, or Z, then it's gonna be a collaborative record, obviously. But the idea has to be great, and then. I'm dreaming of that, but time is the problem.
Maybe ask us again in a year and see.
Okay, we'll see where you go.
Come back in a year.
I'll maybe do my job and instigate.
Shall we do an interview with us, in a year?
We absolutely we could do. Fast forward, I mean, it sounds to me that there's the sort of like the seed of a great creative and collaborative project between the two of you all. But it's like how easy is it for you to let go or to add in, so to speak? So it's like, you know, I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen that thing happen between very, very recognised drum and bass artists that you'd think that were like completely unified in their vision, and they managed to get very successful. but actually being very, very different, at the same time. So it's sometimes if you just go, like you said, I think what you said was really interesting, that you two could probably go in the studio and just come up with like 30 or 40 ideas that will probably be able to turn into tunes. And I think that's probably the actual process of how you'd create, because I think one of my jobs has always been A&R, and it's helping artists create. That's what the job is. I've done that for a number of different organisations, and it's always the same. You can see that there's collaborations that one person's just doing all the work, you know what I mean, and another person's throwing in ideas. There's collaborations where there's like a constant battle, and there's collaborations that are just
like Oasis.
But there's like, without, again, I don't want to reveal anyone's secrets, but there's like a very, very well-known duo, been around for 30 years.
You're talking Too Unlimited again?
No, but no one's as good as Too Unlimited. But no, these two, they're absolute legends, absolute Stone Cold legends. And one of them, it's always been my knowledge and my understanding that one of them starts the tunes and one of them finishes them. Yeah. They've very rarely been in the studio together.
Finishing a track is such a skill.
That's the thing, because there's one that has the ideas. He always has the great ideas, and this one can't think of the ideas but can finish a track. And for some reason, they've just been able to work in this way, and they're absolute legends as a result.
There's this wonderful book by Rick Rubin.
Oh yeah.
About the creative process, and he basically writes in one of his chapters. He says something along the lines of, "An idea is great, but it's scary to go make it."
Yes.
Because it seems to get smaller when you start making it.
When you start making it, it's like, oh shit, how did I...
Oh shit, I'm really doing this. And then you have to gather the ingredients, and it seems to become a smaller idea.
Yeah.
A sillier, is it really that cool?
Yeah.
Well, that was an amazing insight. But you got to get over that, otherwise nothing will happen.
Rick Rubin's a really interesting person to listen to, because he's worked with... He's not really skilled at any one thing. He's just really good at making artists get the best out of themselves and
being in the room.
Yeah, just being in the room. just his aura just manages to make people create.
The bearded Buddha type guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also only says smart stuff.
He said he's got some really, really great interviews online.
He didn't start out as a wise old man.
No, he was a proper engineer at one point.
I mean, he started out from his dorm room at some campus, right? He was like.
He was
like a bit of a wannabe.
But I think he was
the only white dude in Def Jam Records.
He was he was like a proper engineer. He was like a proper mixing engineer, I think. But I think it got to the point where he didn't necessarily needed to press the buttons. He just needed to know what was needed to be heard. And so he could just say, well, you press the buttons. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, make it sound like this. This is what I've got in my head. And there's producers in Jungle that are like that. Yeah. They don't actually know how to make tunes, but they can sit with people and get them to make an amazing tune.
Can I ask if you were our A&R and we would be focused and organized?
Yeah.
Imagine a world.
Okay.
What would your advice to us be?
Well, what you said there about just sort of boiler rooming it and just going in the studio and writing as much as you can, maybe having 2 or 3 sittings of that, and then you end up with maybe 100, 120 tracks, and then you what we call AB them, and you sort of like just go through and figure out, what does this sound like? This is something I want to hear. This is something I want to continue listening to, and there has to be an agreement on all 3. Yeah. And then you go, and then there'll be a deciding vote.
A being as in you're going to swipe.
Yeah. So it's either swipe right, swipe left in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like
interesting.
I mean, again, I don't want to say I'm always careful about naming certain artists, but when I was at one of the labels that I worked at in my past, there was an album that was being done, and the artist in question, it was about 138 tracks he had written.
What?
Yeah, and then I got whittled down to 12. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and the album was incredible as a result. Every single tune was
and then imagine being a kid in a room who just spent his 25 quid on that album.
Yeah.
He's gonna like 3 tracks.
Well,
right? Often.
You hope not.
As a consumer, you would buy an album, you would have your 2, 3 favorites, maybe 4 in a good day. Yeah. And the rest is just okay.
I mean, but I can think of 5 albums now where 90% of the album I can listen, like, Protect,
Oh, yeah.
Modus
Yeah.
Operandi. Just that's one, just off the top, just like Little
Yeah,
Brother,
I'm
the Minstrel
immediately
Show.
going
Yeah,
into the
I think-
space of hip hop, like
I
Black
think-
Sheep.
Black Sheep, yeah.
One of the best albums made
Yeah.
in the genre. Every track
Yeah.
is on point.
Yeah.
Here, this is how in sync we are. It's also my favorite album of all times.
Really?
No.
Is it Wolf in Sheep's Clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. In terms of album, and not
Because the whole,
it doesn't
I
have
hate
the best
the word
tracks
journey,
in the world,
but journey.
but the whole there isn't one track that is silly. Another one
Even the
is
skits are great.
the skits are amazing.
Yeah.
Another one is Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, which one?
Wow,
Line Theory. But you know what? Actually, Jungle
Line
Quest,
Theory. Yeah.
all of their literally all of their albums are like. Even the last one,
I haven't heard.
the last one that was after Fife died. Even that one
Yeah.
is incredible.
But
Some of the tracks on there are like epic, like orchestral pieces, like of jungle with the hip hop.
But-
And actually, De La Soul, the Anonymous Nobody, that album where they did the Kickstarter, didn't they? So what they did, they did an advert in the New York Times inviting all these session players to come to like these studios over a period of like 6 weeks or a month, and you could just come in, play some shit to them, and they record it, and then you sort of sign a waiver to say, you know, whatever you play in this thing belongs to De La Soul.
Interesting.
So they've got their own sample bank. And so then
That's
basically,
amazing.
yeah, so they didn't have to worry about getting anything cleared because everyone's given their permission. So this idea that all these
Right.
these players were part of this album is a beautiful thing. Even if their stuff didn't get used, they can sort of say, "Well, I might be featured on this album."
That's
and
amazing.
Then,
Yeah.
and then they wrote the album out of the back.
Yeah, it was the same. The early Public Enemy stuff. Right?
It was the Shockley brothers. It was
Yeah, but their technology and their approach to working is like amazing.
Wall
And-
of Sound, they call it.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Because
they just throw stuff around and
Yeah.
search for the little diamonds in the in the collage of
Yeah.
hours and hours of.
Yeah, they
of tape.
recorded for hours.
yes,
And then something stuck.
I mean, some of the tracks on the early Public Enemy albums are still like Fight the Power. Even though it's not early, that was sort of slightly later. Fight the Power, but just from a political standpoint, what it meant politically for me personally to see what it represented. Just the tune was fucking bad as well. And then it had the Pete Rock remix as well. There was like a Pete Rock remix, which was incredible, right?
Well, it's interesting. Maybe we're talking about the Public Enemy album,
Yes.
and also circling back to what we were talking about before. We are like 16-year-old white kids hearing Public Enemy.
Yeah.
What's the name of the album? It takes a nation
Takes
of
a
millions
millions of- yeah.
to hold us back.
Fear of the Black Planet. It's my favourite,
Yeah.
but yeah, just because of the title. But anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it was that one. It was, of course, very culturally laden. It was
Yes.
politically very controversial.
Yeah.
But then you have these like little Dutch guys, and we sort of get it in our own way. And we just automatically connect to it, and that shit never leaves us. So it's like it has, even if we are not like the target audience, perhaps, or something.
I think you are exactly the type.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that. I don't think they
you
were
are.
making it. I don't think they were making it. Obviously, they're making it for their people, them obviously. But I think that was the dream of Chuck D, was to make sure that everyone got to hear what their message was.
It was like the newspaper,
absolutely,
for lack of
Yeah.
an internet.
absolutely,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
Like
the magazine.
It felt for me. It was almost like Encyclopedia Britannica. It was like more of a history lesson.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, okay, I didn't, the name's Marcus Garvey, even Malcolm X, if I'm being really honest,
Yeah.
I didn't really, because I wasn't learning that in school, there was no documentaries
It
on
was the
TV.
first
Nobody
time.
taught you in
No one told me
Like
in school.
what was it, like the
Yeah.
Nation of Islam? or
Yeah,
something?
Nation of Islam.
Like, what?
Five
what
What?
What?
Who?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was that, and it was like that for me too. I didn't know who any of these things were, and what any of these things were. And then I remember going to I lived on. God, I sound like such a nerd, but I lived on the road with the library was at the top of our road, and so it was like literally 2 minutes away. And I remember seeing a book, like a sort of picture book about Malcolm X, and about what he was about, and what he did, and what he stood for. And I remember being drawn to it purely because I'd been listening to Public Enemy just before, and I'd heard the name being mentioned. So it was just about learning, and it actually, what music now would actually encourage you to go and read a book, but Public Enemy, do you know what I mean?
No, there you go.
This is what I'm saying. But Public Enemy
You remember
literally
Paris?
made me do that. So who?
Remember Paris?
Paris from
The artist.
The artist,
The rapper.
the rapper.
He was like a pro-black 5%er that was...
What's his the devil?
The devil made me do it.
Devil made me do it. Yeah,
Very pro-black,
super
whatever
pro-black.
that may mean.
Yeah, well,
that,
it's in the
that
title.
whole thing.
It's in the title.
And I even remember when NWA came out, it had two things going for it. It was very entertaining because it had a lot of bad words and a lot of fuck the police that you could easily chant along with.
Yeah.
Which I was not agreeing with fuck the police technically.
Yeah.
I did not mind any police. Sure, I love police, fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm the guy of 15, 16 years old in the suburban Etteleur.
Yeah, you're like, well, what's wrong with the police? Why are the
Yeah,
police? Why is
yeah.
there
Well,
for
the
the
cops
police?
are always nice. What's
The
going
police,
on?
the police is
But
alright.
what
Yeah,
the police
no,
do. But it was my newspaper. And it
because you're like,
felt
well, why are these
something-
people saying that?
And these people, they're clearly serious about this
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. Yeah.
So even when I saw the questionably qualitative, what is it? It's the movie of questionable quality of NWA.
Oh,
A few years
the
ago,
biopic, yeah.
It was entertaining, but it wasn't a great movie.
It was
But
okay.
that scene where you see the guys lined up in front of their studio and their heads on the floor and the cops are just bullying them, you would feel like, wow, that was it.
Yes.
That was it. You could feel that anger and the frustration. I'm not doing anything.
Yes.
Why are you fucking up my life?
Yes.
That frustration was in the record.
Absolutely.
And we felt it
Yeah,
in downtown Etteleur.
yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is weird, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because we were not those guys
It was a
at
different
all.
frustration.
Yes.
It came from a different source,
Yeah.
but you related to it in a different
Totally,
way.
yeah.
I mean, in UK we had Stephen Lawrence, who was a very famous racist murder that happened nearby my school actually, and that same year, Onyx came out, and it was about attacking the bodies, and that was like, for me and a bunch of friends of mine, we saw a lot of like sort of power in that symbol that Onyx represented. The Bartlett, the black Bartlett thing, with the bother boots and the MA2 jackets and everything, right? It was like a real look. It was like black skinheads, you know what I mean? And I remember us all shaving our heads, right, and being black skinheads, so that we didn't feel that we were potential victims anymore. We felt like we were empowered, and it was Onyx, and Sticky Fingers, and them guys that actually empowered that, and so music has always been, I mean, one thing that I know, we've got all different WhatsApp groups, and everyone wants everyone to be nice to each other and blah blah, but the statement that pisses me off more than anything is there's no politics in music. When people try and suggest that music should just be music and that there's no other meaning to it, that it should just be something you have fun to. Yes, it is something we have fun to, but music of real value says something, even if it's instrumental.
Yes, and whilst you were speaking, I was thinking the energy and the anger that you felt resonated with you when you were talking about Onyx.
Yes.
Do you feel the same in drum and bass or jungle?
It's funny.
Or something similar?
That's a great question. Yes. Honestly, yes. But it's a different thing.
It's less explicit.
It's not as explicit. So it's like there's certain tracks that just invoke certain emotions for me, but there's not necessarily a lesson behind it. But there's certain tunes that when I hear them, they make me feel angry. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
because they're just that in itself.
Yeah.
But there's no story behind it necessarily.
And a lot of times the people who send out the music or the music itself, it stands for something, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean,
and
I'm not always sure what it is. Maybe just like you just mentioned, but like if you listen to old Goldie stuff, there's so much going on.
You know what?
It's like, but I don't exactly understand what's going on. But I love it.
You're bang on the money.
Yeah.
Look, there's no
Inner
two
city
ways.
life.
There's no two ways. Like Inner City Life, you can hear there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
There's certain tunes in Goldie's
That was a bit on the nose,
Look,
man.
there's certain tunes in Goldie's repertoire. I mean, without going into too much detail, there's different periods, I think, of different people's lives. We all have different challenging parts of our lives. Sometimes we're more aggressive, sometimes we're more calmer, and then we get to a certain point in our life where we reach a level of, peace and tranquility, hopefully.
I've heard of it.
Okay. I think there's definitely periods when you listen to, I think not just Goldie, but I think if you listen to anybody's repertoire, you can hear where there was the more turmoil, the more traumatic moments in his life, which were probably happening around him, at certain periods. He would be the only one to be able to really truly tell you what it was. Speaking on my own, for myself, absolutely, when I listen to certain music that I've made, I'm like, oh yeah, I was doing way more drugs then, wasn't I? Do you know what I mean? Or whatever it was, you can sort of hear it in the tune. Yeah. And sometimes it's very sometimes it's actually quite triggering to listen back to.
Right.
Like,
I can imagine.
Yeah, because
it is always in a way nostalgic, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're referencing to certain tracks that makes you feel a certain emotion, it's connoted to the moment when you heard it first.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you have a strongest memory to it, or a period in your life that it talks about, speaks to.
Yeah. But there's a track called Flim Flam. Sorry, it's just Nucleus.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it's one of those mixing tracks, right?
It's definitely a mixing. Well, it's by Nucleus. It's an artist called Nucleus, who's like a contemporary of Paradox. And so, Dave, I'm sorry, mate, but like Nucleus, he wrote this track Flim Flam, and it is it's out on Reinforced Records, which is a legendary label from For Hero. Yeah. And it's just basically, it's a very simple drum funk tune, really. But there's something about this tune, more than any other tune in drum bass history, I don't know why, it makes me almost want to cry when I hear it, because it has this build up to it, and then this hi-hat comes in, and then I just break down. I don't know what it is about this fucking hi-hat. It's so stupid. Yeah. So people are probably going to be going, what the fuck? And they're going to be hopefully Googling this and going to play Flim Flam, Nucleus Flim Flam. Yeah. When the hi-hat comes in, and it's actually made me want to do my own series about talking about tunes like that. That's so important to me. I don't understand why these tunes are so important, but these tunes have just done something to me over time. And I've got like 50 of these tunes in my head. Yeah. That if I hear certain tunes, Convoy by Matrix.
All the music that we love comes from. I think I stole it. I read this in the Stupid WhatsApp group. There was a conversation about. I think you were part of the conversation about how music cannot be detached from politics.
Yes, I think it's just
social values or experiences. And someone said, "Well, the whole music, all the music that we like, comes from political oppression.
Absolutely,
from sound system culture.
Absolutely,
brought into the UK, developed into ultimately, like people who are now 16 years old listening to drum and bass and enjoying it." Are the same people that we were when we were 16-year-olds in Netherlands.
Absolutely, but you were having fights and riots when Tin Dog were performing, right?
Well, I wasn't fighting. I was a pussy.
No, but it was happening. So it sounds like there was. But it sounds like there was anger and there was like a frustration there that was being let out.
There was a frustration, but not with us particularly. We had. Cool. I'm speaking for myself. I had a very comfortable life.
Right.
I had nice parents. Good people around me.
Yes.
Good opportunities.
Yes.
Went to proper school. Well, proper. Not shitty. Yeah. So I was not unhappy at all. But around us were people with solid frustrations.
So there's a well-known artist here again. I don't know if I should quote him, but basically he lives in Rotterdam. He said to me, he's an American and he lives here now. He said to me, one of the things that he found frustrating about Dutch dance music is that it's such an amazing country to live in that there's not enough challenge, and so it makes some of the music kind of benign. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know if that's an entirely fair comment, but I think I wonder if there's any. I don't know if there's any.
Are you calling us airheads?
No. I think what he's trying to say is that the best music comes from challenge.
But I've got one word for you.
Okay.
Too Unlimited.
Well, there you go.
No, but literally, we make.
Bass Hunter.
We make music that comes from happy people.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah.
We are one of the most prosperous countries in the world. We're in the top
but see,
10
this is
for
really-
decades.
This is great. This is really interesting.
So it is. You
No,
know,
but I'm not even joking.
I think it's true.
Right, so when I first moved here, right, so my first Sinterklaas, yeah, right?
Oh.
my
No,
God,
hold
this is
on.
gonna be
It's
embarrassing.
not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. So I remember I was at home, and I put it on, is it NPO? I think it was on NPO, and they had like Sinterklaas, all the songs, like all day. There was like these music videos, right? And I'm like, I want to what? Right, I'm gonna sit here and just get immersed in Dutch culture. I'm gonna see what the fuck this shit's about and find out what these songs are,
shit.
what they're talking about. And it's just like guys wearing dungarees with pink wellies, like ruddy face, like all these songs, right? Like just
Sounds good.
yeah. And I was thinking, motherfuckers, these people are happy as shit. Like there's no drama. There's no drama in the LBC. Do you know what I mean? It's the Snoop D-O double G. There's none of that here. Like it's just there's no fuck the police. There's no it's no. There's no limit to what we can do. Like literally.
You're not wrong.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really fascinating, and I was just like amazed by them. But go on.
Maybe sometimes also in our past, you know, we sometimes we hung out with not exactly the right crowd.
Yeah.
Our parents wouldn't maybe approve of, but at the end we sort of were like, all right, now it's getting a little bit out of control. We're going home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always this, like you would have on your keyboard, the escape button.
Yes.
This escape button. You know.
Yes.
So we were adventuring sometimes,
But not too far.
into this like, ooh, it's almost ghetto, Olaf. Maybe we should go home. You know,
And you follow the trail of
but that's
breadcrumbs.
also a little bit.
Yes,
it's,
but you know,
I'm almost ashamed to say this.
No, don't be
But
ashamed at all.
That's
No,
maybe the truth.
no,
as well.
no.
Yeah,
Because you
there's-
know what that means is you would have been one of the people that would have left the Diddy parties before the freak offs. Yeah, then you would have been fine. You would have been alright. Like,
No comment.
no, but you would have been one of them. Like, do you know what I mean? Other people would be like, well, let's just see what happens, innit? But nah, you two are like, nah, it's 12 o'clock. Fuck that. I see this shit. I
This
see
is
some
not
baby
proper.
oil coming out. No, I'm going. This I'm going.
It gets scary now.
Yeah, it was like when there were more than one type of drugs and more than one type of weapon. You know, then we would sort of look at each other and go like, maybe.
Yeah, and I would literally be naive about many things because not growing up in the big city,
Yeah.
there is people say they got like street mentality.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Okay, that's fine.
You know, I'm from Etteleur. There's no street. There's
Yeah.
a curb where you play with your boys. You know, so it is.
It's different. That's what I mean.
It is super different, and yes, you're right. We're historically one of the happiest countries for decades already.
Yes,
We've
yeah,
been
I know, I can see
doing
that, yeah.
pretty well,
But that's what I mean. I've sort of come to accept it. I
and
thought.
that's also, let's say, I'm going to speak for myself. Because my privilege.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't go for everyone in the Netherlands.
No, I get
There's
it.
a lot of kids who don't have opportunities,
I get
especially
it.
in the immigrant culture.
Yeah, I
There's
get it,
a lot
I
of
get
shit going on
Yeah.
that I am even poorly aware of.
Yeah, yeah.
Even in this stage.
Yeah,
and I recognize that.
Yeah.
But me for myself,
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in money. I grew up in no money, but in happiness
Yeah.
and in love.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
people were kind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm very privileged in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And I think what's really interesting about being here is that there's no sort of shame attached to that. And I don't think there should be, by the way. I don't think there should be. I think there's been far too much guilt and shame on the part of certain parties, and sometimes it doesn't feel very genuine. But it's like I've had some funny conversations here because I'm sort of used to a certain reaction from. Let's just be blunt. I'm used to a certain reaction when I say certain things from white people, and then I've not necessarily had that reaction here, and then you sort of realise I'm actually genuine, and especially in Rotterdam particularly. And it's not even over from white people, but from just from people in general around race. People just don't see certain things because they've been brought up in a certain way, and they were just like, well, I just moved with all the different cultures that I don't understand what you're talking about. And I came from a very sort of combative, sort of segregated situation, racially charged area, in London, especially South East London. And I've come here, and I'm still bringing some of that energy, and people are like, yeah, man, my friend's Moroccan, and this friend's from here, and we're all cool. Like, do you know what I mean? They never really saw it. They just all just grew up just being what they were, and there wasn't that much division. And that's what one of the things I would want people to know about Holland. Actually, certainly in Rotterdam, that it's kind of it's sort of annoying that some of the anger that I grew up with and have, and maybe still have, it just doesn't exist in people of colour necessarily in Rotterdam. They're just like, well, when I wanted to start a business, I just went to the company car and just registered my business and started it. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, there didn't seem to be that many sort of barriers to entry for certain things. And
I mean, there's an argument to be made that it's more hidden here.
Yes, I think I've had some interesting conversations.
It's not non-existent.
It's not non-existent. No. I've had some interesting conversations with people about race or around race, and I think there's some I thought people were taking the piss a little bit because I was like, well, surely you must know about this, but actually, I just think there's just genuine. No, we just don't have that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people just don't have it here. They're just not really always just aware of some of the things that I'm talking about. So, like, I remember talking to one former manager of mine about the concept of white privilege because he'd heard about this idea, and I was sort of explaining it to him. And he goes, "But Chris, if you want to go and start a business, you can go and start a business. There's nothing." You know what I mean? In his mind, he was like, "There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Why do you think it's a problem?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe there isn't here." And to be honest, for the most part, from what I can see, especially in Rotterdam, there doesn't seem to be. But I'm sure people are going to be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Chris? Of course there is." You know, and there's still a lot of stuff in terms of the names of streets and statues and things like that.
I think there's a kind of a great deal of institutional racism.
Yeah, it's right.
Like cultural racism from long time ago.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we are dealing with that. You know, little baby steps.
Yeah.
And let's also be honest, you live in Rotterdam, we live in Amsterdam, which is vastly different from outside areas. There's parts of the Netherlands where things can get really nasty and ugly.
Yeah. That's what I've been led to believe. But I've been, like I said, I went to the campsite. So I was with my partner and her son, who's mixed race. She's white. So the perception from the outside was that we were a family, like family, it's fine, we are. But he had a guitar on his back, right? And so because he was playing a guitar at the time. So he looked like a little mini Jimi Hendrix, really, do you know what I mean? So he walked onto this campsite in, like, I can't remember where it was, in the middle of one of them middle places.
Armpit.
Yeah, it was in the middle somewhere, just like, wow. And then, like, within half an hour of getting there, people come up to the cabin where we were staying. I was like, "Oh, are you guys going to be the entertainment for tonight?" Do you know what I mean? I was like, and so to me, it was interesting because it wasn't like people weren't like, "Oh shit, you better hide your shit." Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was like the assumption was, "Oh, well, they're here to entertain." So I'll take that. Absolutely, I'll take that over me being seen as a drug dealer all day. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll take that, and that's what I mean. It's even the sort of not the prejudice, or even the sort of like the assumptions are quite sweet. I mean, it's like
I remember we had the same thing going on. I could say subconsciously, but it was also like prejudice when we were in high school. Mm-hmm. We were going to perform. Mm-hmm. We wanted to do like DJing and backspinning and all that stuff. We had a drum computer, so we had this like this evening at school. Yeah, we want to do something. Yeah, we might need a rapper. And then we both like looked at the one black guy in school. You'll be our rapper, right? Yeah. Because that's he made the part look right. Yeah. And then we were like, yeah, sure. And he's like, yeah, and we were.
They probably couldn't rap for shit.
Did we ever hear him rap? I don't know, man. But
let's just get him.
Yeah, he's gonna be here.
Totally 16, 17.
Yeah,
then we went up to the
stage and we're like, were brothers in the whole school. It was 2,000 kids.
He does that to rap. Yeah, it's like
it was the last time. But that also taught us a little something. So I'm happy with the lesson.
Look, hey,
we grew up in a very white part of the Netherlands. Yeah, and as a result, I feel sometimes, I personally feel sometimes very naive in not signaling the problems that exist in the world, because of my own frame of mind. I remember for work I was in Chicago and I was on a fancy rooftop sitting there,
enjoying myself, doing a bit of work, but I had to get out. So I finished my drink, asked the lady, can I get the check, please? And the check wasn't arriving, and I was in a rush hour. So I saw the floor manager of the restaurant. I went to the lady and said, I asked your colleague if I could get the check, but she's not coming back. So can I pay with you? I said, who was the colleague? I said, I don't know. I don't know who she was because I didn't pay attention. But can I pay, please? I need to go. And then the girl walked past and said, it was her. And she said, you didn't want to say she was black, right? And I was like, I didn't notice.
I didn't even.
I didn't realize it was a human who did her job, and I didn't. And she made it a thing.
Yeah.
That's how naive I am.
Yeah.
That this lady was apparently assuming that I find it difficult to mention that the girl was black.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck, she could have been purple.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, or
whatever. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be one of those things that sometimes people are going to face up, and depending on what country you're in, especially in America, it's so racially charged. And coming from London as well, it's so racially charged. You know, even some of my black friends here are sort of like, Chris, man, Jesus, like, you know what I mean? It's still like, you know. And I think there's sort of like a thing here where I feel like people of colour don't necessarily want to talk about race around white people here in Holland, but I also understand maybe why they might not, because they just feel like, well, is it worth it? You know what I mean? Is it really worth having that conversation? I don't know. I mean, I've definitely stopped having it as much, because I think the people that really want to try and understand will, and the people that are just not interested in necessarily engaging in that way just will be like, oh no, it's no politics in music. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, they just sort of like, they just do that blinking.
I do feel London is mixes much more than the Netherlands.
Listen, like
whenever
people,
like, see
everyone's more mixed.
with
Everyone's
everyone.
mixed, yeah.
Much more than here. Actually.
Yeah, there is a sense of apartheid here. That's what I was saying about, you know, most of the jungle events. You know, I'll go to Liquidity. It's like, Jesus, like it's like 25,000. Do you know what I mean? White kids, and like there's me and like, you know, maybe GQ, and like, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, and that's cool, because it's the country where it is. It's in, and I'm not. But I'm just like. I mean, I've got a friend in America that sort of like, at some point we have to sort of ask like black people, why aren't you coming to these things? Like, do you know what I mean? Is it just because you don't see other black people, or is it what is it? You know what I mean? We can't just blame white people. I've sort of got to the point where I would like to actually investigate, like my nieces, you know, for example, I've got 8 of them, 8 nieces and nephews. Only like one of them that's into jungle, really. You know, the rest are into other things, but you know, it is what it is. But anyway, so
Tough.
we said that there's no necessary. You just don't necessarily. So just to close up, just to finish up, because we've had a couple of desperados now. You don't think that there's anything particularly you want to do with Stupid? You just want to just kind of just see how it develops and just grow it and build it that way?
Yeah, well, generally yes, but I think innovation and new things is at the heart of it.
Right.
And we designed the parties we would like to attend.
Right. Okay.
That has worked.
That's the whole
It's also open doors. I have a long list of events I would love to play. The one in Tilburg. What's it called? It's called the Draaimolen or something.
Yeah.
That's an amazing event. I would love to play there. We would love to have collaborations with other crews. We're looking at a tiny, I think it's a thing in Arnhem. You know, just getting on the train, on the car, having an amazing night and coming back with a lot of memories. That's the goal. So we did a trip to Rotterdam and Den Haag lately.
Yeah, you come and see the Footstep guy. I wasn't there, unfortunately,
that was amazing.
Yeah, shout out Footstep, and they're my family, they're my crew.
Yeah,
in,
I love them.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And the little space they got, it's got similar vibes.
It's exactly the same vibe. It's almost exactly the same size.
Yeah, exactly. I love the nothingness of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's ambition, but there's not, we gotta, you know.
Let's
just do it.
And we sort of recognize each other, right?
Yeah.
Real
Totally.
recognize real, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rule's got things that he wants to do. There's things that I think he wants to set out to do, and he's a very ambitious guy, and he's got my full support. So I really love what they're doing. But yeah.
So that's the dream, I guess.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
No. I mean, we're like in the way we sort of explained before, we try to think of things that we would like to be at some point. You know, to be ambitious and then break it.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
It's always, you know,
I like that.
yeah, we have this perfect dream. All right, let's break it.
You break the mold that you created.
And then, you know, I think we're still looking to incorporate more experimenting. And sometimes we are experimenting, so we still have to get used to, like, you know, experimenting something and, like, not having success. You know, just hearing the sound of your own echo, you know. Rather than just some people cheering us on or something. Right. So I think we should embrace that more.
Definitely.
Just experiment, fail forward, and see whatever.
Fail forward. I like it. Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna play abroad.
Yeah.
Would love to have some stupid gigs in Bristol or in London or whatever.
And it doesn't matter if it's
that would be such a good excuse.
So funny. People talk to me about Bristol here so much. It's so weird. But
Why?
It's interesting because it's like, you know, there's lots of places in the UK that, you know, represent certain sounds, but Bristol does have a very strong identity. It's just interesting that's translated so well over here.
What is the identity then of Bristol? How would you describe that?
Well, the dubstep and the jungle thing, particularly in terms of those two particular genres, and there's just so many people that have been so successful, you know, and like trip hop. You know, it was invented in Bristol, and you know, there's so many things that have come out of Bristol.
History.
There's definitely a magic sort of energy to that place, and there's a lot of respect for it.
Overview here, Brighton.
Brighton is another space. Yeah, another space. Volks is very much like Merchweg.
Yeah,
has the same sort of energy, and I mean, you know, Brighton, London obviously is going to be London. There's going to be lots of competition, lots of events, lots of places.
Sure.
But I think there's places outside like Brighton, like Bristol, Nottingham, Birmingham, Manchester, that, you know, in the UK that represent different things.
But there's also in weird cities. I was for work. I was in Prague.
Oh, right, yeah,
There's an amazing scene in Prague.
Prague's got the parody. They've got a Paradiso in as well in Prague.
Well, it's not that I know of. But
it's called Paradiso in Prague. Yeah, same thing.
There's a few places. There was one underground place that was like crazy sound.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad man, and then Riga is another place that I think is incredible in Latvia. I played all over Europe, like Poland, you know, Czech Republic.
The dream to sometimes just go somewhere.
Do a stupid tour.
Have a little bit.
Yeah.
And we can just start in the field
exactly.
in Belgium. You know,
and I've asked
see what happens.
Adi to hook us up for Sun and Bass. Because that sounds like the dream. You got there once, right?
Yeah.
Adi, get us a
First,
gig.
you know, let's just go there and visit. You know, just catch the vibes. You know.
We've been talking about the carnival.
Notting Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's more like it. Yeah.
We've never been.
Yeah, you should go.
You
should definitely go.
Well,
if not something for the food.
It's not a question, right?
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. I've been taking my son since he was 2. Really? 2 years old. Yeah. The trick is. I shouldn't really tell everyone. But the trick for me is to go early on a Sunday. If you go Monday, it just gets a bit too mad for me. But if you go early on a Sunday, you can enjoy the music, enjoy a part of the sound system. You're not going to get crushed. You're going to get yourself out of there, and it's safe for kids, and it's nice. And like you can bring your kids to that. So like, you know, you get there at like 10 in the morning. Enjoy yourself. Once it starts getting 2-3 o'clock, and it starts getting a little bit busier, you're on your way out. That's the way I enjoy carnival, because it's just otherwise you're just seeing kids.
It's too many people.
Yeah, you're seeing kids doing balloons and stuff. It's just like
that's not great.
It's boring. It's boring. Do you know what I mean? Well, I think that's it, guys.
Thanks a lot, my friend.
Anything else you want to tell the world?
Well, there's no revolutionary news happening on this side currently. Stay on the socials and you'll find out.
Yeah.
Join the WhatsApp group.
Yes, please. Yes.
Everyone be kind to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to Two Unlimited.
This is Two Unlimited.
And
you should get them done. I wonder what
I
they're both
would
doing
have
now.
them anytime.
I wonder what they're doing now.
We can remix them.
Do you know what I mean?
Have a whole
Two Unlimited.
thing of their remix.
Please, Two Unlimited, come back. Let's have you here. Anyway, until next time, guys, thank you very much. It's been beautiful.
Thank you so much, man. It was an amazing conversation.
It's been really great.
Thanks a lot.
And I'll see you on the next. Oh, sorry.
Not everyone hates Chris.
Not everyone hates Chris. No,
that's good.
I'm starting to realise that. Yeah, but it's still a great title. So, yeah. Anyway.
And.